Quick recap. At my own wedding, my estranged sister Renee showed up in a dress identical to mine and handed me a letter from our mother. Inside was the truth. The man I called Dad adopted me. My real father died before I was born. And the photo of him looked exactly, and I mean exactly, like my husband Daniel's father. I could not breathe. Because if Daniel's father was my father, then Daniel was my brother. And I had just married him. I did not go back to the reception. I walked straight out the side door, still in my dress, and I drove to the one person who could tell me the truth. Daniel's father, Gerald. I banged on his door at 11 at night in a wedding gown. He opened it, took one look at my face and the envelope in my hand, and he said the strangest thing. He said, "You found out. Not what is wrong. Not why are you here." He said, "You found out," like he had been waiting 8 years for this exact night. I held up the photograph. My hands were shaking so hard the image blurred. I asked him the only question that mattered. I asked if he was my father, and Gerald started to cry. This big, quiet man I had eaten Sunday dinners with for 8 years, crying in his doorway. He took the photo from me, so gently, like it might break, and he whispered a name. Thomas. Thomas was his twin brother, his identical twin. They had been inseparable until Thomas died in a motorcycle accident at 24 months, Gerald said, before I was born. He never knew Thomas had a child. He never knew my mother. He swore it on his life. The relief hit me so hard I sat down on his porch steps. Daniel was not my brother. He was my cousin. My first cousin. Which was its own strange thing to sit with in a wedding dress, but it was not the nightmare I had driven over with. But here is what stopped the relief cold. I asked Gerald how he could have a twin brother I never knew existed when I had been part of this family for 8 years, and he went very quiet. He said the day Daniel brought me home, he recognized my face. I have Thomas's eyes. He knew exactly who I was before I ever said my last name. He had known, for 8 years. He had known I was his dead brother's daughter, and he had said nothing. He had hugged me at every holiday, called me family, all while sitting on the one fact that changed everything. I asked him why. Why keep it secret? Why let me marry his son without knowing we shared blood? And Gerald looked at me with Thomas's face, my father's face, and he said, "Because there is money, Mara, and someone has been pretending to be you to get it." Renee, the identity theft. It all suddenly connected. Part 3 tomorrow.